So, I want to tell you a story, and I promise this is going somewhere. So, just stick with me. My senior year of college, I had to do this thing where you sit down with your academic advisor and basically map out what your life is going to be like after graduation. And I remember sitting across from this woman, and she's pulling up all these job listings on her computer, like entry level marketing coordinator, social media specialist, digital marketing associate, and she's going through them one by one, like, okay, this one's in this city, this one has good benefits, this one has good room for growth. And I'm sitting there nodding along like, okay, cool, this looks good. But in my head I'm looking at these salaries, and I see 38k a year, 42k a year, and one of them is like 45k a year. And she said, okay, like, this is good and it pays well. And I remember thinking, I'm about to spend 4 years of my life and take tens of thousands of dollars in student loans to come out and make 42,000 a year in 2026, when rent alone in most of the cities is going for like 1500 a month. And I did this math in my mind, and 42,000 a year is 3500 a month before taxes. After taxes it's probably like 2800, and you got your rent for 1500, a car payment, and insurance, student loans, food. You're basically left with nothing, and you're going to be doing that 5 days a week for almost like the next 40 years at least, hoping you don't get laid off. And I sat there and I was thinking, like, no, genuinely, no, I'm not doing that. And I didn't say that out loud. Obviously, I sat there and nodded and thanked her and walked out. And then I went back to my apartment and just sat there thinking, okay, if I'm doing that, then what I'm doing? What am I doing? Because at that point, I didn't have a plan. I just knew that plan wasn't it, and I went back up. I went back to doing whatever I was doing, because I was literally thinking what I had to do. My head was like filled up with random thoughts. You need to understand what I was like before college even started, because this is the whole thing. This whole refusal to follow the normal path, it didn't start it didn't start at that advisor's office. It started a little earlier than that. I grew up being told the same thing, like, I think that most of us were told, work hard in school, get good grades, go to college, get a good job, and that's a successful life. And for a long time I just accepted that. Like, I didn't question it, I just assumed that how it worked, and everyone who was doing well had to follow the path. But then I started noticing that things didn't add up. I would see people online posting regular videos, like regular people, not influencers, not athletes, just like normal dudes like you and me, who didn't seem different from me, and they were making insane amounts of money. And they weren't working at some Fortune 500 companies, like, they weren't doctors or lawyers. They just had a laptop and a business that they built themselves. And I remember being genuinely confused by that. Like, how does that work? How does someone just decide they are going to build something and make like real money from it? Like, where does that even start? And I think that confusion like that genuinely pushed up feeling in me, like what my life could look like in this different path. Because once you see that it's possible, and you can't really unsee it after that, you know what I mean. Like, once you realize that the formula you were given isn't the only formula, that there are people out there making real money without having to follow any of the traditional steps, it changes your brain in a good way. And then that thing with my academic advisor happened, and it kind of like just solidified everything. And I was like, okay, I need to figure something else out, because I cannot spend the next 40 years of my life sitting in an office doing the same thing every single day, working for a company who doesn't know my name and building somebody else's dream. I cannot do that. And look, I want to be clear here, because I don't want to come across the wrong way. I'm not bashing people who work 9 to 5s. I've got a ton of respect for people who do that. Genuinely, like it takes a lot of discipline to show up somewhere every single day and just do what you're told. And I'm just saying, I know myself and I know that would that kill me? Not literally, but like mentally, it would absolutely destroy me. And I think there are a lot of people watching this right now who do feel the exact same way, who are sitting in their job or like on their classes or whatever they've got going, and they've got this feeling in their mind. Like the feeling of this is really it. This is what I'm going to do. And I just want to say that the feeling is valid, but there's another option. So let me tell you what happened after I left that advisor's office, because this is where it gets real. Real. I went back to my apartment. I started researching, like I genuinely was just sitting in front of my laptop for hours, going down every rabbit hole I could find. Like, how do people make money online? What business can you start with no money? What do people actually do to make a full time living without a traditional job? And I came across a lot of stuff. A lot of it was garbage. Honestly, drop shipping gurus, Amazon FBA gurus, day trading influencer, and a lot of stuff that either seemed too complicated or like too scammy or too good to be true. And I found something that actually made sense to me: social media management or AI automation services, and specifically idea of like running a social media management and AI automation agency on a platform called Upwork. And the concept was so simple that I was almost suspicious of it. It was just businesses need social media and AI automation. Most of them don't know how to do it well. So you find those businesses and you sell them a monthly package to manage their social media. They pay you every month and you keep the money. That is it. There's no product, no inventory, there's no startup cost. And I was like, okay, this is something. And this seems like an actual thing that actual people are doing to make money. So I just started it. I made an Upwork profile. I started sending proposals. And I want to be honest about what those first few weeks look like, because I think people always skip the part. It was rough, like genuinely rough. I was sending proposals every single day and hearing nothing back. And when you are in that phase, you're just putting in like real effort and getting zero results. It's so easy to talk to yourself into giving up, to tell yourself this doesn't work, everyone's lying, maybe I should just go apply for those 42K a year jobs. And I won't lie to you, that thought crossed my mind more than once. But I kept going and I eventually figured out why my proposals weren't working. I was writing them like a job application, like I was, here's my background, here's my experience, please consider me. And nobody cared, because the client posting the job doesn't want to hear about me. They want to know if I understand their problem and if I am the one to fix it. So I changed my whole approach. I started looking at each business before I applied. I checked their Instagram, their Facebook to see what they were doing, what they were missing, and then I opened my proposal by by talking about specifically what they want, and then people started responding and eventually I landed my first client. I remember exactly how I felt, like I'm not even exaggerating when I say it. I genuinely felt like one of the best moments of my life. Not because of the money, although the money is great, but it is because it felt like it was real. Like this thing I had been building in my apartment on my laptop was actually real. Someone was actually paying me to do this. Someone trusted me enough and hand over their business's social media and pay me a monthly retainer for it. I just remember thinking like, okay, this is it. This is the thing. And from there I just kept going. I got a second client, then third, then I started figuring out what actually kept clients happy and what didn't. I started figuring out like how to not do the stuff myself, do the work myself, and I started bringing in subcontractors to help my clients with the execution side of things. And slowly, not overnight, but slowly, the number one went up. I started turning it into something real. At first, it was like 1500 a month, then it was 3K a month, and at the last, it was 5K a month. And now I am consistently doing over $8,000 a month from my laptop. I don't have a boss. I don't have to commute anywhere. Sit it. I don't sit in an office for like 8 hours a day doing the same thing over and over. But I want to be real about it because I think it's important. 8,000 a month sounds great, and it is, but it's not the finish line. After taxes, paying the person that helps me with the content creation, after expenses, after everything, it's not the same number in my pocket. And I have student loans. I got rent, so I need to grow this thing to at least 10, 15, $20,000 a month, and I'm not there yet. And I'm going to sit there and pretend that I've got it all figured out because I don't. I'm generally just figuring out in real time. But here's the thing, even the $8,000 a month, even with everything, I still have to figure out. I'm so far from where I would be if I had just like taken one of those 42K a year jobs. Like, it's not even close. And more than money, I mean this genuinely, the feeling of building something that actually belongs to me, where the results are directly tied to what I do, where nobody can just call me into a meeting on a random Tuesday and tell me my position has been eliminated. That feeling, once you actually feel it for real, it's hard to go back. Like, I think once you experience that, what it actually feels like to build your own income from scratch, it is just something you cannot replace. But look, if like you're sitting there right now feeling that this thing is not working, panicking about the path you're on, I just want you to know that there's another option. There's a real option, and it's not like some get rich quick scheme. It's not some magic system. It's a real buildable thing that people make money without following the traditional path. And the version of me that would have started this a year earlier, I would be in such a better position right now. So if you are someone, you have been sitting like thinking about something, some business idea that you want to start, some skill you want to turn into income, whatever it is, don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment isn't coming. Just start. I'm going to keep documenting everything on this channel. I'm going to be talking about what's working, what I'm figuring out as I go. But yeah, if you want to follow along, stick around on the channel, subscribe. If you got any questions about anything I talked about today, drop them in the comments. I had read them all, and I'll be reading all the comments and I'll reply to them all. So yeah, see you in the next one. And if you want any AI automation service, anything built out, there's link in the description to book a call. If you have any questions, you can book a call and I'll definitely help you out. Thank you.